Luigi's Mansion is possibly one of my favorite games of all time. Growing up with the GameCube, I had access to a lot of great Nintendo games, but the one I usually remember the most is Luigi's Mansion. I could replay the game for days on end, it's certainly a fun trip every time. Its spooky atmosphere sets it apart from the rest of the GameCube's library in my eyes, and even apart from the sequels made later on. And because of its eerie atmosphere, it's bound to have quite a lot of mysteries surrounding it. I've been seeing some videos of my recommended on Icebergs for video games, and because this game means so much to me, I wanted to try my hand at that. I looked up Luigi's Mansion Iceberg, and I found two of them, one from Twitter, one from Reddit. I went with the Twitter one, but only because the Reddit one has this on it. I don't want to discuss this in detail, unlike Reddit apparently does. Without further delay, let's dive into the Luigi's Mansion Iceberg. Totaka's Song. Most games that Nintendo sound designer Kazumi Totaka works on have a little Easter egg, this Easter egg being a little melody that he puts into certain songs or just in the game in general. This is dubbed Totaka's Song, and it plays if you wait long enough in the control screen. However, that's not the only instance in this game. Kinda. There's also a file in the game titled Pianist Quiz 03. This belongs to the ghost Melody and her quiz where she plays a little song on her piano, then asking you what song it is. There are only two songs that she has a chance to play in-game, the underwater theme of Mario and the athletic theme in Mario 3. There was originally going to be a third song that was Totaka's Song, the answer being Totakeke's Song. The reason for this is because Totakeke is KK Slider's real name, and if you went to him in Animal Crossing and requested a KK song, it would play Totaka's Song. This was just an Easter egg in Animal Crossing, which is why I'm assuming it got removed, because people would not be able to guess it as easily as compared to the Mario questions, but I kinda wish it was in here. I love Totaka's Song. Space World 2000. This simply refers to the Luigi's Mansion bits and pieces shown at Space World, a trade show Nintendo hosted from 1989 to 2001, showing off the new things they had in store, such as new consoles or games. In the event for the year 2000, they showed off a lot of GameCube games in the making, one of them being Luigi's Mansion, and I gotta say, it really is interesting seeing how different everything looks. The Mansion Contest. In the opening cutscene of the game, there's a piece of paper Luigi holds that mentions a contest to win a mansion. However, Luigi didn't even enter the contest. The lore to this is when King Boo freed the Boolossus, a jumbo ghost composed of many smaller Boos Professor Egad captured, they both freed all the other ghosts he's captured, conjured up a mansion, and sent out the message to Mario and Luigi. That's how it all started. Ghosts are painted by Vincent van Gogh. Some theories state that Vincent van Gogh, the artist ghost, created all the portrait ghosts in order to create himself a family. That may be a reference to the real-life Van Gogh who lived in loneliness. These theories remain unconfirmed, but it's kinda sweet to think about in a way. The Lost Galleries. Admittedly, I couldn't find anything about this. My assumption is this refers to some gallery similar to the one Egad can take you, except they're lost, never to be found, possibly featuring more ghosts. Or it could be talking about the cut earlier galleries, who knows. Ghosts playing cards. In the middle of the Space World 2000 footage, there was a short bit of three blue ghosts playing poker at a table. This isn't anything special, it's just a fun little thing the team put in. You can actually catch this on the EGAD painting machine thing. Although if we're going to make a big deal out of this, let's say they died from a gambling problem. They put so much money on the line, they just fell to the floor and died. Riding the Poltergeist. In the earlier builds, the Poltergeist 3000 seemed to have wheels, but the later designs seemed to drift away from that. However, in the PAL version of the game, they must have kept the plans for that, because you can ride on the Poltergeist. Sort of. It really does look like some kind of glitch or cheat, but it's funny looking, so I like it. Hey Luigi, what's the holdup? This one is one of my favorites. If you listen closely outside of the well in Area 3, you can hear Mario yell this out.
Hey Luigi, what's the holdup?
I personally love this clip a lot because instead of sounding scared, Mario just sounds genuinely annoyed. This is also in the 3DS version, and I think that's pretty neat. The mansion is an illusion. This refers to the lore I pointed out earlier. King Boo and his minions conjured up the mansion, yada yada. Nothing else to this really. All the mansion is just an illusion. Even though it's physical and can be explored, it's all controlled and formed by the Boos. Luigi's shoelaces. I couldn't really find anything about this. Looking up Luigi's shoelaces just take me to Mario's shoe, and also looking at Luigi's model. Yeah, those look like shoelaces to me. The Green Toad. There was going to be a green color variant for Toad, however this is cut out of the final release. Not really sure why. There is an action replay code for it though. PAL Hidden Mansion. When you beat the game, you can restart in the normal mansion or the hidden mansion. All this does is make Booze and the Poltergust stronger, unless you have the PAL version. That version did loads of things different compared to what we were given, and it's honestly a bit unfair. The mansion is mirrored, more ghosts spawn, bosses are harder and even have differences in fighting, hallways and rooms are much darker, Boos are more agile and harder to catch, there are fewer heart pickups, and there are 45 Boos to catch compared to the original, only having 40. I really wish we got that over here, and I honestly really want to try it out. Ending graphics. Originally, upon beating the game, there would be a render of Luigi based on what rank you got. This one for the lowest possible rank, this one for partially completing the game, this one for completing the game. I guess you just can't plan for this sort of thing. Apparently when you scan one of the graves in the graveyard, Luigi says something like, I guess you just can't plan for this sort of thing. This one is pretty obscure, and even the creator of the Iceberg themselves said it probably should have been lower. I do agree with this just because I can't find any footage of it, and I don't want to go back into the game to go and find it, so I'll just take their word for it. Map 0. Map 0 is a test area and nothing more. It has Fire, Toad, Sleepy Mario, Luigi Arm, and more different rooms. It's pretty neat, but it's nothing too mysterious. Poison status. There's an unused poison state in the game where Luigi holds onto his throat and shakes around, losing a ton of health. I'm so glad this isn't in the original, that'd be hellish. Plus I hate it when his model looks like that. The Safari Ghost. This one is pretty interesting to me. In the Safari room of Luigi's mansion, there's no boss ghost for that room. Nintendo Power speculated about there being a ghost of the hunter, but was deconfirmed quickly. However, a Reddit user claimed that when they were younger, there actually was a hunter ghost. The user's mom even remembered what you had to do to capture it, plus his friend mentioned him having a rifle. But realistically, none of this is true. The only reason the method was remembered is because you do use a method, just not to fight a boss. The ghost was never even planned. Outside the mansion. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything about this because this is honestly really vague. It could refer to the front of the mansion, which you can't access because it doesn't exist, or the parts behind the mansion that you can access. Not really sure what it means. If anyone in the comments does, please let me know. Reuse Super Mario 64 samples. I feel like this one's made up, but that's only because I couldn't find anything for it. The closest thing is there's an unused Luigi voice line, presumably about shaking off the ghost dog.
Ow! Oh! Oh! Nice doggy! Nice doggy! Oh, pet, pet!
The beginning ow parts were later used in Super Mario 64 DS for when Luigi got burned. That's all I have, though. Luigi.mdl. This is simply put an unused Luigi model. It has some cut early animations, but that's really all there is to this one. How Mario was captured. Mario was captured in the painting by King Boo and his minions. There's not really an explanation as to how, though. Unless King Boo somehow put him in the EGAD machine? Or maybe King Boo can just turn people into paintings. I don't really get it. The Astrology Room. I can only assume this is talking about the observatory. For anyone who doesn't know, if you look into the telescope, it unlocks a bit of a path, allowing you to blow up the moon, explosion effects, and everything. This creates a bridge that leads you to Mario's star. That's all I could think of for this. I couldn't find anything about like an unused astrology room or something of the sort, so I'm just guessing that there's a lot of people who didn't know about the secret. Strange. Poltergust prototype. I am hoping this refers to the Poltergust in beta instead of something lore-related, because I couldn't find anything about the latter. In earlier builds of the game, there was a pressure meter that went up from 1 to 10, the Poltergust overheating when it reached 10. This would do damage to Luigi, though he would recover it over time. This was changed to a ghost counter in later builds, until it was turned into the element meter. The Poltergust was also able to fire water infinitely, and had different nozzles for different elements. Early Mario model in Pikmin. This one is kinda weird for the Iceberg. Yeah, there is an unused Mario model in Pikmin, but I can't think of a relation to Luigi's Mansion. This model looks pretty different compared to the one in game. The attic never lights up. While the rooms in the attic level do light up when completed, the halls in the attic never seem to. It's just a strange little detail, it's kinda interesting. Removed multiplayer functionality. There's an unused multiplayer mode that can be activated with an action replay code. It's just two Luigis walking around and capturing the ghosts. It's obviously not perfect, but it's kinda functional and it's pretty funny. How the Boos were trapped. This one is simply theories. Some people think it might be some kind of special trapping material or something. One interesting theory I read is that they were never trapped and it was a planned ambush. This one makes the most sense, considering the Boos literally made the mansion. Full Space World FMV. The bits and pieces of Luigi's Mansion that were in the Space World trailer were part of a compilation of little game teasers for what the game has to offer. People try to piece together all the footage and make a fan-made full version of the FMV clips, and some of them look okay, but it's obvious this wasn't meant to be a full-fledged video trailer or something. Out of Bounds coin. Way outside the map of Luigi's Mansion, there's a single, floating, rotating coin that's impossible to get to. A commenter even points out that if you can ever manage to get to it, nothing happens. It doesn't have any collision and doesn't trigger anything. Overheat feature. As stated previously, the Poltergeist originally had an overheat feature, and I've already explained it, so moving on. Beta Game Over screen. This refers to the infamous clip that plays in the E3 trailer for the game that features the almost dead-looking Luigi looking at the camera with a little spooky jingle playing. This was constantly theorized to be the beta Game Over screen, but actually, it never was. It wasn't in any build of the game and was never used as a Game Over screen in the demos. It was simply just a little clip in the trailer. Depictions of portrait ghosts before death. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything for this one. There are no existing depictions of portrait ghosts, save for maybe some fan art out there. I haven't gone looking for that specifically, though. Chauncey died as an infant. Some may theorize the baby ghost Chauncey died as an infant, and that's why they are a baby ghost. The evidence we have is a framed picture of the nursery that looks a lot like Chauncey. Problem is, the Game Boy Horror tells us they were born a ghost, so is the mansion lying or the GBH? I don't know, I'm kinda leaning towards him being born a ghost. All portrait ghosts were once alive. Not joking, I looked up Luigi's Mansion portrait ghost alive in the search bar, and the Luigi's Mansion wiki site said, a portrait ghost is a ghost that was once alive. That's literally all I have to say about this one. Sue P died in her sleep. This one actually surprised me quite a bit. In the guest room of the mansion, there's a ghost by the name of Sue P, a 7-year-old who died in her sleep. That's not some theory, that's genuinely what happened. Her biography states, what was meant to be a short nap seems to have turned to an eternal rest for the sweet Sue P. Good lord. October 30th, 2000 build. This means nothing. All of these icebergs and video game mystery things have at least one creepy build kind of thing, and this one chose October 30th. There's nothing about it on the internet anywhere, not even any fan-made videos on it. Basher. A Basher was an unused ghost in Luigi's Mansion's development. Despite his name, he doesn't actually do any physical harm, he just gives Luigi a big scare, making him fall back and lose some health. The health even comes back slowly. It was a pretty cool idea though, but it likely would have been annoying to deal with. Chef Ghost. An unused portrait ghost belonging to the kitchen. It has the appearance of a chef and holds on to an unused item still in the game's files called tomato.scp. This would have been pretty neat, I wish they kept this one. Behind the Mario painting. This is about what could be inside the painting that Mario's trapped inside. I'm assuming there's not really much behind there, considering Mario's constantly standing and not really moving away from the spot he's always in. Not really sure though, that discussion is all speculation and assumptions. Luigi's hung shadow. In the telephone room in the top area of the mansion, while at the phone in the middle, when the lightning flashes, there's a strange shadow that resembles Luigi hanging from the ceiling. Not really. This is simply a lighting error. I don't know why this is so low on the iceberg, it's pretty well known and not really that mysterious. True ending. I had a hard time researching this part without getting Luigi's Mansion spoilers, so the best thing I could find with this topic was the ranking system in the first game. The highest you can get is an A rank, which is ideal, but what could be considered the canon rank is a D rank. This is because in the beginning of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, the house Luigi owns is very similar to the D rank house. S rank. In the Luigi's Mansion remake for 3DS, you can go further beyond A rank and go to S rank, giving you this overkill of a mansion. That's all there is to this one. Egad's Ladder. Normally you can't go around Egad's laboratory, but with an action replay code, you can walk around and go up this mysterious ladder. There's nothing actually up there but a black void, so maybe they did intend for something to be up there. Also, if you fall off the ladder, you land right on Egad's head. Ouch. The Daisy poster. I couldn't find a single thing about this. It's just something made up for the sake of the iceberg. I'm just gonna say this real quick. The Abyss section is unfortunately a little underwhelming, as most of the obscure mysteries in this part are simply made up things or just speculation. So, sorry about that. Egad's true intentions. This one relates to the multiple theories of Professor Egad having a sinister side to him, even as far as to call him evil. I personally don't really want to watch all the theory videos on it right now, because a specific theory doesn't really interest me that much. Like, come on, leave the old Olimar alone. Death of Bowser. I couldn't really find anything solid about this. I could only find something on the Mario Wiki about people theorizing Bowser and his death, or his simple defeat. From the beginning. In the earlier builds of the game, the main menu had two options called Skip Intro and From the Beginning. There's nothing very special about this one. 24-hour time limit. I'm 99% sure this is simply legend or speculation, but according to some people, an early build of the game gave a 24-hour time limit, and if you didn't finish the game in time, the cutscene of the depressed Luigi would show up. People thought this was true because of the clock in the bottom right of some builds, but this was simply for the public Space World demos that gave players limited time so no one could hog the demo. Bad ending. Once again, this is all rumor and speculation relating to the 24-hour time limit and the ending graphics from earlier. Mansion's true origins. The true origin of the mansion is it was conjured up by Booze, as stated previously. Couldn't find anything else. B Mario. It's an unused model for Mario. It's speculated that this was going to be used for a multiplayer mode that was in the works but scrapped before the game's release. This model has similar proportions to Luigi, likely to keep animations similar enough not to be completely remade for Mario. I think. ELH. At the very bottom of this iceberg, we have ELH. This freaky looking model was going to be a boss, but didn't get far enough in the development to even receive textures. It has some animations with it, as well as some particle effects. I honestly would have loved this to be in the game, but I can definitely see why it wasn't added. Any young child who saw this in game would have remembered this for years, then go on to make top 10 scariest gaming moments ever videos, with this being second place right next to the Mario 64 piano. Ugh. And that's all there is to the iceberg. I'm actually really glad I made this video because I've learned quite a lot about this game, more than I originally knew. I've always loved this game to death, and I'll probably keep on going back to it every now and then, thinking of all the mysteries and secrets I've discovered, and I hope a lot of you feel the same. That's really all I have to say though. Thanks for sticking around. It means a lot.